There's something your partner probably hasn't told you, something he thinks about, fantasizes about, but would never actually say out loud, not because he doesn't trust you, but because he's worried about how you'll react. He's afraid you'll think he's too aggressive, too demanding, or that you'll misunderstand what he really wants. So instead, he keeps it locked away, buried under layers of politeness and careful consideration. And you? You're left wondering why the spark feels different than it used to, why the passion seems muted, or why he seems distracted even in your most intimate moments. Here's the truth that most women never discover. 99% of men crave a level of intensity and passion in the bedroom that goes far beyond what they're currently experiencing. They want you to meet them in a place of raw, primal connection where politeness takes a back seat and pure desire takes the wheel, but they're terrified to ask for it because society has taught them that expressing these desires makes them seem disrespectful or dangerous. What if I told you that understanding these secret desires could completely transform your relationship? That knowing what truly drives him wild could make you absolutely irreplaceable in his mind? That the confidence you gain from this knowledge would radiate into every aspect of your life? You're about to discover 10 moves that tap directly into the deepest masculine desires, the ones he's been too nervous to mention. These aren't just physical techniques. They're psychological keys that unlock a level of connection, obsession, and devotion most couples never experience. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why these moves work and how to use them with confidence and intention. Before we dive into the specific moves, you need to understand why this knowledge matters so much. This isn't just about pleasing him or performing tricks. This is about creating a bond so powerful that he becomes completely captivated by you in ways that go far beyond the physical. When you understand what truly turns a man on at the deepest psychological level, everything changes. First, you gain confidence. Not the fake kind that comes from following a script, but the real, unshakable confidence that comes from truly understanding desire and knowing you have the power to create intense connection. That confidence shows up everywhere in your life. Second, you create irreplaceable chemistry. When a man experiences this level of intensity and passion with you, he doesn't just remember it, he becomes addicted to it. You become the standard by which every other experience is measured, and nothing else even comes close. Third, you deepen emotional intimacy. Contrary to what many people think, physical intensity doesn't create distance. When done with intention and trust, it actually creates profound emotional bonding. He feels seen, accepted, and free to be completely himself with you. That vulnerability creates loyalty and devotion that lasts. Finally, you reignite passion that may have faded. Long-term relationships often lose their spark not because the love is gone, but because the intensity has been replaced with routine. Understanding these desires gives you the tools to bring that electricity back, stronger than ever. To really understand why men crave intensity, you need to understand how masculine desire works at a biological and psychological level. Men are wired differently than women when it comes to intimacy, and this isn't about stereotypes or generalizations. It's about understanding fundamental differences in how desire manifests and what creates fulfillment. Testosterone plays a massive role in male sexuality. It doesn't just drive physical arousal, it creates a need for intensity, for challenge, for conquest and pursuit. This isn't about dominating you as a person, it's about experiencing a level of passion that matches the intensity of his desire. When a man feels intense attraction, his body is flooded with chemicals that make him crave physical expression of that intensity. Gentle, predictable intimacy doesn't satisfy that craving the same way passionate intensity does. From an evolutionary perspective, men are programmed to pursue, to protect, and to feel powerful in their masculine energy. This doesn't mean women are passive. It means that when you allow him to express his masculine intensity and you meet him there with your own passionate response, something primal clicks into place. He feels like he's truly connecting with you on every level, not just emotionally or intellectually, but physically and instinctually. There's also a psychological component that most people miss. Men rarely feel fully desired. They're taught to be the pursuers, the initiators, the ones who prove their worth. When you show him through intensity and passion that you crave him just as much as he craves you, it fulfills a deep emotional need. He doesn't just feel wanted, he feels necessary, irreplaceable, and completely accepted. That acceptance allows him to drop his guard and be vulnerable with you in ways he can't be with anyone else. The moves you're about to learn tap into all of these elements. They're not random techniques. They're carefully designed to trigger his deepest psychological and biological responses, creating a connection that feels almost addictive. When you understand the why behind these desires, you can use them with intention and confidence, knowing you're creating something truly powerful. Let's address the elephant in the room. When you hear the word rough, what comes to mind? For many women, it triggers concerns about violence, disrespect, or losing control. That's completely understandable, especially given how these concepts are often portrayed in media or misunderstood in conversations. But here's what you need to know. Rough doesn't mean violent, and intensity doesn't mean disrespectful. What men actually crave is passionate intensity. It's the difference between a polite handshake and a tight embrace. It's the difference between a gentle pat and being pulled close with urgency. Passionate intensity means being fully present, expressing desire without holding back, and creating friction and energy that makes both of you feel completely alive. It's about dropping the politeness and the careful choreography and allowing raw attraction to take over. This only works within a framework of complete respect and consent. The moves we're discussing aren't about one person dominating another against their will. They're about two people who trust each other enough to explore intensity together, knowing that either person can pause or redirect at any moment. The hottest, most satisfying intimate experiences happen when both people feel completely safe and completely free at the same time. Think of it this way. Intensity is like turning up the volume on a song you both love. The song is still the same, the melody is still beautiful, but now you can feel it in your chest. That's what passionate intensity does. It amplifies everything that's already there, the attraction, the trust, the desire, and makes it impossible to ignore. When done right, it doesn't create fear or discomfort. It creates exhilaration, deeper bonding, and memories that neither of you will ever forget. That's the foundation we're building on. None of these moves work without trust. In fact, trust is what transforms intensity from something potentially uncomfortable into something incredibly bonding and fulfilling. When a man feels safe enough to express his desires with you, and when you feel safe enough to explore them, something magical happens. You create a private world that belongs only to the two of you, where judgment doesn't exist and vulnerability is celebrated. Men are actually incredibly vulnerable when they open up about these desires. They're risking rejection, misunderstanding, and judgment. When you respond with curiosity and openness instead of shock or criticism, you give him a gift that most men never receive: complete acceptance. That acceptance creates loyalty and devotion that goes far beyond the bedroom. Trust also means communication. Before trying anything new, there should be conversation, not clinical, awkward conversation, but genuine dialogue about what excites both of you, what boundaries exist, and how you'll check in with each other. This doesn't kill the mood, it actually enhances it because you both know you're on the same page. The beautiful paradox of intensity is that it requires softness to work. The moments of passionate intensity are balanced by moments of tenderness, affection, and emotional connection. When you understand this balance, you realize that exploring these desires doesn't change who you are or compromise your values. It actually deepens your relationship because you're both brave enough to be completely honest about what you want and trusting enough to explore it together. Move number 1, the grip of control. The first move is deceptively simple but incredibly powerful: the grip of control. This is about how you touch him during intimate moments. Instead of gentle, tentative touches, use firm, intentional grips. When you're close, grip his shoulders, his back, his arms with real pressure. Dig your fingers in slightly. Hold on like you need him to anchor you. Why does this work? Because it communicates several things simultaneously. First, it shows him that you're fully present and engaged, not just going through motions. Second, it signals that his intensity isn't too much for you, that you can match it and meet him there. Third, it triggers his protective and powerful instincts. When you grip him firmly, his body responds with a surge of masculine energy. This isn't about causing pain, it's about creating sensation and communication through touch. The pressure should be firm enough that he feels it, that it creates a slight edge of intensity, but never uncomfortable. Pay attention to his response. You'll notice his breathing changes, his muscles tense, and his focus sharpens. That's the sign that you've tapped into something primal. Move number 2, the pull in. The second move is about initiating closeness with urgency and hunger. Instead of waiting for him to pull you close, you pull him in. Grab his shirt, his belt, the waistband of his pants. Pull him toward you with visible need and desire. Don't be gentle or tentative about it. Show him through your actions that you want him right now, not in 5 minutes, not after more buildup, but immediately. Men spend so much of their lives initiating and pursuing that they rarely experience being the object of intense desire. When you pull him in with urgency, you flip the script. He feels wanted in a way that goes straight to his core. It's not just that you're willing to be intimate with him, it's that you need it, that you're driven by desire that matches his own. This move works in any context. You can pull him in for a kiss, pull him closer during an embrace, or pull him toward you when you want to escalate intimacy. The key is the urgency. Your body language should communicate that waiting another second is impossible. That raw, unfiltered desire is incredibly arousing because it's authentic and uncontrolled. Move number 3, eye contact that commands. 3. Eye contact. The third move happens entirely in your eyes. Sustained, confident eye contact during intimate moments. Most people look away during intensity because it feels too vulnerable, too exposing, but that's exactly why it's so powerful. When you hold his gaze during passionate moments, you create psychological intensity that matches the physical sensation. Eye contact does several things. It forces both of you to be completely present. There's no hiding, no retreating into your own head. You're locked into the moment together. It also communicates confidence. When you can look directly at him without shyness or embarrassment, it shows him that you're completely comfortable with your desire and with him seeing you in this vulnerable state. For men, eye contact during intimacy creates a sense of being truly seen and connected. It's not just physical anymore, it's emotional and psychological. The vulnerability of being watched and watching simultaneously creates incredible bonding. Try holding his gaze for longer than feels comfortable. Let him see everything you're feeling in your eyes. Don't perform or try to look a certain way. Just be completely present and let your genuine desire show. The intensity will be undeniable. Move number 4, vocal permission. The fourth move is about using your voice to give him permission and encouragement. Many men hold back during intimacy because they're not sure how far they can go or what you actually want. When you give vocal permission, you remove all that uncertainty and give him the freedom to be fully present and intense. This can be as simple as saying yes, or don't stop, or I want you to. It can be more specific. You can be rougher, or I trust you, or I love when you do that. The specific words matter less than the message. You're giving him explicit permission to let go of restraint and be more intense. Vocal encouragement also means expressing what you're feeling. Moan, gasp, say his name, tell him what he's doing to you. Men are incredibly responsive to auditory feedback because it confirms that what they're doing is working. Without that feedback, they second guess themselves. With it, they gain confidence and can focus entirely on the experience instead of worrying about your response. Your voice is one of the most powerful tools you have. Use it to guide him, encourage him, and show him exactly how much you're enjoying every moment. Move number 5, the resistance play. The fifth move is playful resistance, and it needs to be approached carefully and consensually. This is about light, teasing pushback that activates his pursuit instinct. It might look like playfully pushing him away and making him work for it, or giving him a challenging look that says, "Make me," or creating a little friction and tension before giving in. The psychology here is ancient and primal. The chase, the pursuit, the sense of having to earn something makes the reward feel more valuable. When you offer playful resistance, you're not actually rejecting him, you're creating a game that both of you are playing together. The key word is playful. This only works when both people understand it's a game and when there's underlying trust and consent. This move should never involve actual resistance or saying no when you mean no. It's about creating tension and release, about making the moment feel less predictable and more exciting. You might pull away slightly before pulling him back in harder. You might make him wait just a moment longer before giving him what he wants. That brief moment of tension makes the release exponentially more satisfying for both of you. Move number 6, the reclaim. The sixth move is about you taking control and leading with confidence. Intensity isn't one directional. While men often crave the opportunity to lead with passion, they also find it incredibly attractive when you take charge. This might mean pushing him back onto the bed, climbing on top and setting the pace, or directing him to do exactly what you want. Men find confident, assertive women incredibly sexy because it shows you know what you want and you're not afraid to take it. It also takes the pressure off him to always be the initiator and leader. When you reclaim control, you give him the gift of being pursued and desired, which is something most men rarely experience. This move works best when it's spontaneous and driven by genuine desire. Don't overthink it or try to perform dominance. Just act on what you want in the moment. If you want him in a certain position, move him there. If you want to control the pace, do it. If you want him to watch while you take what you need, make him watch. The confidence you show in these moments is magnetic. It tells him that you're an equal partner in creating intensity, not just receiving it. Move number 7, the whisper of desire. The seventh move is about intimate, whispered communication. Get close to his ear and whisper what you want, what you're feeling, or what you're thinking about. The combination of your breath on his skin, the intimacy of whispered words, and the content of what you're saying creates intense mental and physical arousal. Whispered communication feels secret and private, like you're sharing something meant only for him. It creates psychological intimacy that amplifies physical sensation. You might whisper encouragement, "I love how you feel." You might whisper desire, "I've been thinking about this all day." You might whisper permission, "I want you to lose control with me." The power of whispered words is that they engage his mind, not just his body. Men are incredibly responsive to mental stimulation, and when you combine physical touch with intimate verbal communication, you create a full sensory experience. Your voice becomes another form of touch, creating sensation and connection simultaneously. Don't worry about saying the right thing. Authenticity matters more than performance. Whisper what you genuinely feel and want. The rawness and honesty of your words will be far more powerful than any scripted phrase could ever be. Move number 8, the scratch and mark. The eighth move is about physical expressions of passion, light scratching, gripping, and marking. When pleasure becomes intense, your body naturally responds. Instead of suppressing those responses, let them show. Run your nails down his back, grip his arms or shoulders hard enough to leave temporary marks. Hold on to him like you're afraid he'll disappear. These physical expressions do something crucial. They give him visible, tangible proof that he's affecting you intensely. Men worry constantly about whether they're truly satisfying their partner. When you leave physical evidence of your passion on his body, he has undeniable confirmation that what he's doing is working. There's also something primal about marking and being marked. It's a temporary claim, a physical memory of the intensity you shared. When he feels the slight sting of scratches on his back later, he'll think about you and what created them. That mental replay extends the experience beyond the moment itself. Again, this should never cause actual pain or injury. It's about creating sensation and expressing passion physically. Pay attention to his response and adjust accordingly. Most men find this incredibly arousing because it signals that you're so caught up in pleasure that you can't control your physical responses. Move number 9, the surrender moment. The ninth move might seem contradictory after all this talk of intensity and control, but it's actually one of the most powerful, the surrender moment. This is when you completely let go, stop trying to control or direct anything, and fully trust him to lead. You become completely receptive and present, allowing yourself to just feel and respond without thinking or planning. Men have a deep psychological need to feel trusted and capable. When you surrender control to him, you're giving him the ultimate compliment. You trust him completely with your vulnerability and pleasure. That trust triggers his protective and providing instincts at the deepest level. He doesn't just feel physically aroused, he feels emotionally fulfilled. Surrender doesn't mean passivity, it means active receptivity. You're still present, still responsive, still engaged. You're just not directing or controlling. You're allowing him to read your responses and adjust accordingly, trusting that he'll take care of you. This creates a flow state where both people are completely attuned to each other. The balance between taking control and surrendering it creates dynamic tension that keeps intimacy exciting and unpredictable. Neither person is always in charge, which means both people stay engaged and present. Move number 10, the aftermath connection. The 10th and final move happens after physical intensity ends, the aftermath connection. This is when you hold him close, speak softly, show affection, and create emotional grounding after intensity. Many people make the mistake of thinking that rough or passionate intimacy means emotional distance. The opposite is true. The contrast between intensity and tenderness creates powerful bonding. After intense physical connection, both people are emotionally vulnerable and open. This is the perfect time to deepen emotional intimacy. Hold him, tell him how you feel, ask him how he's feeling. Create a safe space for both of you to process what just happened and reconnect on an emotional level. Men need this aftermath connection more than they usually admit. After intensity, they need reassurance that everything is okay, that you're happy, that the intensity didn't create distance. When you provide that reassurance through affection and words, he feels emotionally secure and satisfied, not just physically satisfied. This is also when you build trust for future exploration. When he knows that intensity will always be followed by tenderness and connection, he feels safe being completely uninhibited with you. That safety creates freedom, and that freedom creates the best intimate experiences possible. Now that you know the moves, you might be wondering, does my partner actually want this? The truth is, most men do crave more intensity, but they express it in subtle ways because they're afraid to be direct. Learning to read his signals will help you understand his unspoken desires without requiring him to spell everything out. Pay attention to how he touches you. Does his grip get firmer when he's really aroused? Does he pull you closer with urgency in certain moments? Does his breathing change when you're more assertive or when you show visible desire? These are all signs that he's responding to intensity and wants more of it. Notice what makes him lose control slightly, what makes his careful restraint slip. Those moments reveal his true desires. Listen to his verbal responses. When does he moan or say your name? What actions make him more vocal? Men often give auditory feedback without realizing it, and those sounds tell you exactly what's working. Also pay attention to what he talks about or references, even casually. If he mentions finding confidence sexy, or comments positively on passionate scenes in movies, he's giving you clues about what appeals to him. Watch his body language during intimacy. Does he seem like he's holding back? Does he check in with you frequently, as if he's worried about going too far? That restraint often indicates he wants to be more intense, but isn't sure if you want the same thing. When you give him permission or encouragement, does he immediately become more passionate? That's confirmation that he's been holding back. Finally, notice patterns in what he initiates or responds to most enthusiastically. If he always responds strongly when you're more assertive or when you show urgent desire, that's a clear signal. Trust your intuition. You know him better than anyone. If you sense he wants more intensity but hasn't asked for it, you're probably right. Even with all these signals, having an actual conversation about desires and intensity will transform your intimate connection. Many women avoid this conversation because they're not sure how to start it without making things awkward. But here's the secret: vulnerability creates intimacy, and talking openly about desires is one of the most intimate things you can do. Start the conversation outside the bedroom in a relaxed, comfortable setting. You might say something like, I've been thinking about ways we could make our intimate time even more exciting and connected. I'd love to hear what you think about or fantasize about. This opens the door without pressure or expectation. Frame it as curiosity and mutual exploration, not as criticism of what currently happens. Share your own desires first. This makes him feel safer opening up about his. You might say, I've realized I really love when you're more intense and passionate with me. I want you to know you don't have to hold back so much. This gives him explicit permission while also revealing your own desires. Men often worry that their desires might be too much, so hearing that you want intensity too removes that fear. Ask specific questions that make it easier for him to open up. What do you think about when you're most turned on? Or, is there anything you've wanted to try but haven't mentioned? Or, what would make our intimate time feel even more connected and exciting for you? Specific questions are easier to answer than vague ones like, what do you want? Make it clear that this is a judgment-free conversation. Reassure him that you want to understand his desires, not criticize them. Say something like, I want us to be completely honest with each other about what we want. Nothing you share will change how I feel about you. That safety is crucial for real honesty. Finally, approach the conversation with genuine curiosity and openness. Don't interrogate or demand answers. Let it be a flowing dialogue where both of you share and listen. You might not cover everything in one conversation, and that's okay. Opening the door to ongoing communication about desires is more important than getting every answer immediately. When you create a pattern of talking openly about intimacy, everything else becomes easier. If you're feeling hesitant about trying these moves or if your partner seems uncertain, remember that exploration is a journey, not a destination. You don't need to try everything immediately or transform your intimate life overnight. Building up gradually allows both of you to adjust, build confidence, and discover what works specifically for your relationship. Start with one small change. Maybe it's firmer touch, or more sustained eye contact, or being more vocal. Try that one thing and see how it feels for both of you. Pay attention to the response and adjust accordingly. When something works well, build on it. When something doesn't feel right, try a different approach. There's no universal formula because every relationship is unique. Give yourselves permission to experiment without pressure. Not everything will feel natural immediately, and that's completely normal. Some things might feel awkward at first and then become incredibly hot once you're more comfortable. Other things might not work for you at all, and that's fine too. The goal isn't to do everything on this list, it's to discover what creates the most connection and satisfaction for both of you specifically. Check in with each other regularly. After trying something new, talk about how it felt. Was it exciting, comfortable, something you'd want to do again? This ongoing communication builds trust and makes future exploration easier. Remember that building intensity in your intimate life is about deepening your connection, not performing or checking boxes. Go at your own pace and enjoy the journey of discovery together. Understanding desire and embracing your sexuality creates a confident shift that extends far beyond your intimate life. When you truly understand what drives attraction and connection, when you know you have the power to create intense experiences, something fundamental changes in how you see yourself and how you move through the world. Sexual confidence is about owning your desires without shame or apology. It's about knowing what you want and feeling comfortable expressing it. That confidence shows up in your body language, your voice, your presence. People can sense when someone is comfortable in their own skin and with their own sexuality, even in completely non-sexual contexts. It creates magnetic energy that draws people to you. This confidence also transforms how you approach your relationship. Instead of worrying about whether you're enough or whether he's satisfied, you know you have the tools and understanding to create incredible connection. That certainty eliminates insecurity and allows you to be more present and authentic. You stop performing or seeking validation and start genuinely enjoying intimacy for what it is: connection, pleasure, and bonding. Beyond your relationship, this confidence affects your career, friendships, and how you advocate for yourself. When you've practiced being direct about desires in one area of life, it becomes easier to be direct in other areas. When you've experienced the power of vulnerability and authentic communication in intimacy, you can apply those skills everywhere. When you know your worth in the most vulnerable context possible, you carry that knowledge into every interaction. The women who truly understand and embrace their sexuality move differently through the world. They're not seeking approval or permission. They're not shrinking themselves to make others comfortable. They're fully present, authentic, and unapologetic. That energy is powerful, and it starts with understanding desire and being brave enough to explore it fully. The ultimate goal of understanding these desires isn't just better physical intimacy, it's creating an unbreakable emotional bond that lasts through all of life's challenges. Couples who communicate openly about desires, who explore intensity together, and who maintain passionate connection build relationships that can weather anything because they're built on complete honesty and trust. When you and your partner can be completely vulnerable with each other about what you want, when you can explore intensity without judgment, you create a private world that belongs only to the two of you. That shared experience becomes a source of strength and connection that nothing else can replicate. You have something together that's unique and irreplaceable. Physical intimacy, when done with intention and understanding, creates oxytocin and bonding chemicals that literally wire your brains to associate each other with pleasure, safety, and satisfaction. The more intense and satisfying your intimate connection, the stronger those neural pathways become. You're not just having physical experiences, you're creating biological bonds that make you crave each other's presence and company. Long-term relationships often struggle because passion fades into routine, but when you understand how to maintain intensity, when you keep exploring and communicating, passion doesn't have to fade. It can actually deepen and evolve as you both become more comfortable and trusting with each other. The couples who maintain strong, intimate connections decades into their relationship are the ones who never stopped exploring, communicating, and prioritizing that aspect of their bond. This knowledge gives you the tools to create not just a good relationship, but an exceptional one. A relationship where both people feel completely seen, desired, and satisfied, where trust runs so deep that vulnerability feels safe, where passion remains strong because it's constantly renewed through understanding and intention. That's the deeper truth behind all of these moves. They're not just about physical pleasure, they're about creating lasting love. You've just learned something that most women never discover: the secret desires that drive masculine attraction and how to create intense, lasting connection. Now comes the most important part: taking action. Knowledge without application doesn't change anything, but even one small step can transform your entire intimate life. Choose one thing from this video that resonated with you most. Maybe it's having that conversation with your partner about desires. Maybe it's trying firmer touch or more sustained eye contact. Maybe it's simply giving yourself permission to be more vocal and expressive. Whatever it is, commit to trying it within the next week. Remember that transformation doesn't happen overnight. Small, consistent changes create massive results over time. Every time you push past hesitation and try something new, you build confidence. Every time you communicate openly about desires, you deepen trust. Every time you meet him in that place of intensity and passion, you strengthen your bond. You have everything you need to create the intimate connection you want. The understanding, the tools, the confidence. All that's left is taking that first step. Be brave. Be curious. Be willing to explore and communicate. The relationship you want is waiting on the other side of that courage. You are powerful. You have the ability to create deep connection, intense passion, and lasting love through understanding and intention. Don't let fear or hesitation keep you from experiencing everything your relationship can be. Embrace your desires, communicate openly, and watch how everything transforms. If this video gave you insights or confidence you didn't have before, let me know in the comments. Share which move you're most excited to try or what realization hit you hardest. Your comments help other women feel less alone in their curiosity and questions. Subscribe to this channel for more content that helps you understand relationships, attraction, and creating the love life you actually want. Hit the notification bell so you never miss new videos. And remember, you deserve passion, connection, and a partner who can't get enough of you. Now you know exactly how to create that. Go make it happen.